Welcome back to the channel, YouTube. Let me talk to you. Another week, and we have another episode of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. This week, we're diving into episode 4 of season 1, titled What We. Now, the title, to me, after watching the episode, feels a little bit mistitled. Now, the title is a wordplay on what we see a lot in the episode, what we can do together, and it was mirrored by Michonne quite a few times in this episode, and it was mirrored by Judas in episode 3 numerous times. But for me, this episode feels more of who are we? Essentially, who are we together? Who are we to each other? Because in this episode, Rick is a complete stranger to Michonne at this point. The man that's in front of her, she does not know. He acts different. His motivations seem different. Although, looking at it from his side as an audience, we know why he feels like he needs to do this, but you have to put yourself in Michonne's shoes. This is not the person that sacrificed himself on the bridge. This is not the brave man. And he said he's not the brave man. Why? Why did he say that? Rick's state of mind at this moment feels like a heavy dose of one would say Stockholm syndrome. He lost everything, and it's been 8 years. 8 years since the bridge. So I know he fought, he did what he had to do, and he chopped off his hand to get away. And this essentially is something that was supposed to happen early on in the governor season, early on in the show, where Rick gets his hand chopped off. So I was always wondering if they were going to get to that point, and they did, and it worked in the way that they wanted to tell this story. And in one of my last videos, there was a commenter who said that this is essentially a love story, and that's what it feels like. It feels like the journey from what Michonne and Rick was in the earlier days of The Walking Dead to what they are now. And at this point, they're not the same, or at least up until the end of this episode. It feels like they're coming back to that cohesive union that they were in the past. The composer of this episode was really good. When the tone shifted from that, I guess one would say, stranger element that Rick had with Michonne, the tone of the music changed. It mirrored some of the epic moments that they've had in the past when they're fighting their way through hordes of zombies, where they're fighting their way through the hallway of walkers. It just felt like their timing was back, especially in one of the scenes where they were fighting the walkers in the hallway. The timing was off. Everything just felt out of rhythm, and even their combativeness to each other made the scene feel out of rhythm. And that's not what we're used to from them two in the past. And so by the end of the episode, everything started to flow again. And it just felt really good to see that trajectory from the beginning of the episode to the end of the episode. And there were a lot of Easter eggs, which I don't know if I really want to dig down into them, because this is probably going to be just a short video on my thoughts of the episode and the foreshadowing for things to come. Looking at the last two episodes title, and I feel like they are definitely titled appropriately. Season 1, episode 5, Become. What are they becoming? Or is something going to happen in the next episode that they have to become something more? We don't know. 2 episodes left, and man, they got a lot of story to tell. And it's just, I'm along for the ride. It's, like I said in my past video, this is the best I've felt since the original run of The Walking Dead. I'm excited, and I can't wait to see what these last 2 episodes, give us. And then looking at episode 6, the last time. Is it the last time they're going to see each other? Is this the last time they're going to see the CRM? What is the last time? I don't know. Again, just the titles definitely invoke a lot of doom and gloom, but we'll see. For the ride, it's been great, and I hate to see this show go, and I hope they don't wait such a long time to bring us season 2, because there's no way this is not going to get greenlit for a season 2. I don't know if it has gotten greenlit yet, but you can't have this show be this good and not give it a season 2. Don't know if we're gonna get one. I would assume we will, but that's just my thoughts on that matter. But everything about this episode really worked, and the imagery that some of the scenes display, like I said, back to the rhythm that they were not in when they were fighting the first time, it felt off. And by the end of the show, everything kind of came full circle. And Rick, his internal conflict with himself and the loss that he suffered over the years is what's really holding him back. And for someone who has lost people in their real life, I can relate. A lot of you can relate. Just the memory of people, you can start feeling yourself just slip when it comes to what do they look like? What do you remember most importantly about them? Things like that. And I could see the turmoil that he was in. And the scenes, Denai and Andrew, they acted this out perfectly. Every single emotion just felt real. It just felt real. There's not much else you can say about the chemistry that they have, but it's at a level that you don't see in a lot of TV shows. None of the emotions, none of the chemistry between the two feels forced. It feels natural. And that's what I like about the writing of this show, of this episode. And speaking of this episode, Denai was the showrunner for this particular episode, and it looked and felt like it was a love story. I don't think this episode could have been told any better, and I'm perfectly happy with what we got. Until next time, guys, my name's Lincoln. This has been an RPG show. Like, comment, sub, and I'm out. Peace.